So this area over here on the left-hand side in Photoshop is our toolbox. And you'll see the little icons, and when you rest your mouse over any of them, they will come up with the little tooltip. So it tells you here, for example, this is the spot healing brush, and in parentheses you see a J. And the J indicates what's called a quick key. So if you're not on that tool and you hit J on your keyboard, you don't use any combos, you just hit J while you're in Photoshop and it will automatically highlight that tool. So at the top of our toolbox we have the Move tool, and you can see that that quick key is V. So if I hit V, it'll select that tool. If I hit J, it goes back to the other one, and so on and so forth. So most of these tools have the quick key. Now, also in the toolbox, you'll see a little white triangle in the bottom right-hand corner of most of the tools. What that means is there are more tools grouped in with that tool. So if you do, for example, a long mouse click, you can see that this tool is your rectangular marquee, but in this same group, we have elliptical marquee, single row, and single column marquee. And you see the quick key M. So if I switch to the elliptical marquee and I need my rectangular marquee, I can long mouse click and get back to this one if I want. Now another trick, instead of a long left mouse click, if you're on a tool and you right mouse click, that's just a quicker way of bringing up the other tools that are hidden in the group. So again, when you just click on the tool that has a little white triangle, it means there's more tools. So if I prefer the right click method using a mouse. If I right click, you can see that I can use any of these tools in this tool group by doing a right mouse click. The other thing that you'll notice in here is it shows you a little white square here. That's telling you that the tool that you currently have selected. So if I'm on Patch Tool and I right click, you can see that that's indicating that's the current tool. So if you're not familiar with what the icon looks like and what it means, you can see here it's showing you which one's selected by the little white square. Some other things in the toolbox that you can do keyboard shortcut wise. If you want to cycle through any of the tools, like from spot healing to the others, there are some keyboard shortcuts that you can do to cycle through the different tools. I'm not very, I don't utilize those, but there are some other things you can do. I just prefer the right mouse click. And when you look at the tools in Photoshop on the toolbar here, you can, there's a little double right arrow up here. And if you do that, all it does is create two columns for you for your tools. If I click it again, it goes back to a single. And this is all just, personal preference. So the quick keys are super handy for switching between tools. So a lot of times when you work in Photoshop, you want one hand on the mouse and then one hand on the keyboard, and that will allow you to quickly switch tools while you're editing. That's just sort of a brief intro to the tools panel in Photoshop.